So today I'm going to be doing the rear drum to disc brakes conversion on my 2010 Toyota Corolla with the 1.8 liter engine. And so I'm just going to explain on which parts you are going to be needing to do the disc brake conversion. Over the weeks, I tried to see if I was able to get the rear backing plates from the Toyota dealership. However, they told me that the backing plates were on back order, and and one of the guys at the dealership told me that somebody else has had the same backing plates on back order since May of this year, and now it's closer to the end of August. So it's been like 3 or something months now, and they haven't showed up. So it's I think it's next to impossible to get the backing plates from Toyota. Although that they are not very expensive, they were like $70 each. So unfortunately, on what I did, I had a look at some junkyards and off of eBay as well. So I found the solid beam axle, the rear solid beam axle from a junkyard Corolla that was crashed up. I think this one is from a 2016 Corolla. The backing plates are a little bit like rusted and rotted on this. And the other thing is, I earlier I purchased the backing plate for the right rear, which was from Miami, Florida, which doesn't have too much rust on it. So for this one, as you are looking at it, this one is the right rear, and back there is the left rear. They come with the wheel bearings, the hub, and the bolts. I took out the bolts off of here so that I could compare them to the old ones. So anyhow, you can see that the backing plates are not in the best condition, and they're all like smashed up, and there are some holes in them too on the right side. On the left side, similar, some corrosion, salt and stuff. So I wasn't able to find the backing plates separately, so I have to buy the whole solid beam axle. I just really just needed the backing plates only. It comes with the 4 hub bolts. The wheel hub, the wheel bearing is the same thing as the base Corolla, is no different. So you can reuse the old hubs or install brand new ones. So that's that for this one. Now over here, I purchased the right rear from Florida. You can see there's not too much rust here, just a little bit of surface rust on the back here and inside the mounting holes. I'm going to clean that up afterwards. It came with the brake rotor, old brake rotor. I just use this to compare to the new one to make sure it's the same size, diameter. I think this one is 259 millimeters in diameter, if I'm not mistaken. Earlier, I was just at the parts store to get calipers, the rear calipers. And I'm going to show you the parts after I start working on the vehicle. I believe the caliper bolts, the rear bolts here, the caliper mounting bolts. It's an M10 by 1.25 by 50 in length bolts. I don't have them at this particular moment. I'm still waiting for them to show up later today. I just used this temporarily because I was just doing a dry fit just to see on how it looks. This one also comes with the hub. I'm probably going to reuse this one. You can see the bolt, it does not go all the way through the threads. This is the M10 by 1.25 by 40 bolt. So I need another 10 millimeters to make sure that I go all the way through the threads. This particular bolt is a 10.9 class 10.9 bolts. So these are the bolts that you need. You cannot use anything lower than 10.9 for the brake components, because if you use a lower grade bolt, the bolts can shear and break under stress, because it's not designed to handle the tensile strength for the braking component. So you got to make sure you use the same exact or higher class bolts. This one is 10.9. So that's that for the backing plate. I think I was able to install the brake rotor while the caliper bracket is still on this one. So that's the way it came. This one was from a 2017 Corolla. They provided me the tag 2017 Corolla. Has the VIN number and stuff. So you can use any Corolla or Matrix that has the disc brakes, that does not have the hat design with the parking brake inside. It's the one that has the parking brake directly onto the caliper. So you can use any 2009 to 2019, I believe, Corolla that has the disc brakes for the for the rear, and that should work. Everything is still a mess here because I'm still trying to figure some things out. I removed the old hub bolts from the solid beam axle, and by coincidence I had original Toyota brand new hub bolts, and they're the exact same size. They are no different than from the base model hub bolts. They're exactly the same, so there's no need to to get different bolts or anything. And if you want, you can reuse the old ones too if you want, with no issues. uh, if you're worried about safety and stuff, you can add a little bit of thread locker onto the threads, blue or red thread locker, or on whatever you want, and so that way it will prevent the bolt from backing out if there's any issues. So I think that's it. I'm going to be showing you on what tools and stuff you need as I go along in the video, as I do the repair. And that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to go back to go start working on the vehicle now. So now I'm working on the vehicle. I'm just going to pull the wheel off now. And so before we start, you want to make sure that the parking brake is released. The parking brake is off. The reason why I'm changing everything is because I'm a fast driver, and there's too much brake fade with the drum brakes, and so I just want to change the whole setup. Uh, Drum brakes are good under certain conditions, but if you're an aggressive and fast driver driving at higher speeds, it's not going to be good enough for the stopping power. And for the rear disc brakes, there's more consistent and repeated like for repeated braking. It's more consistent and less problematic for the the brakes to warp. So it's not like drum brakes. And the other issue is that there's nowhere for the heat to go. The heat is trapped inside. So sometimes drum brakes are not always very good, but it really depends on your application. So I just wanted to change it just because for a little bit better braking power and easier for servicing as well, because you don't have all of these springs and stuff. But the drum brakes are also good under certain conditions. Like they make a very good parking brake system and stuff, and they don't need to be changed as often as brake pads and rotors. Anyhow, it's a very long discussion on that. Uh, so just make sure the parking brake is off. We need to disconnect the parking brake cable, or we can just leave it as it is and disconnect it from the center of the vehicle after we are done. Uh, we need to start by disconnecting the ABS harness and stuff out of the way to loosen everything up, and then we'll start taking off the brake line and the hub bolts. So we are going to start by removing the ABS connector out of the way. We need to unclip the plastic housing first to get that out of the way. Use a flathead screwdriver, disconnect the connector. Remove the harness out of the way. You may just be able to leave it as it is. So before we start disconnecting any of the brake lines, you want to make sure that the brake fluid is all the way at the max, so that way you don't run the brake system low or dry. So you want to make sure that the brake fluid is topped up first. So what we are going to do is I think I'm going to disconnect the brake line over here and then temporarily block it off so that I don't lose brake fluid. This is a 3/16 line. The flare nut is a 10 millimeter on this, so we are just going to crack it loose and take it out, and then later we're going to disconnect the hub bolts. So we are going to loosen up the brake line. It's on extremely tight, so you need to be careful. And brake fluid is going to start to dribble out. All this stuff is from years of rust proofing. So in my case, I won't have too much trouble getting out the lines because there isn't that much rust here. I'm still trying to see how the system is going to look like, so I'm not sure how things are going to be in terms of the hoses and stuff. So still trying to figure things out as I go along, because I haven't done any brake conversions in the past, so I don't know how it goes exactly, but just trying to to figure things out. Just getting that out of the way. I have a new brake hose. I just wanted to see if it fits through here or not. So I'm going to see if I can get something to block it off for now. So I'm not losing brake fluid using a block off kit. So I think I may need to disconnect this area too so I can install the brake hose. So what I'm going to do for now is to remove the 4 hub bolts so I can just get the backing plate and stuff out of the way. I need to see how things are going to line up. So I need to install the other backing plate so I can see how things are. Because I haven't done this before, but I did my research and stuff. So anyhow, it's a 14 mil for these hub bolts. So it's a 14 mil for these hub bolts. And then the last one. Now, the hub and stuff has been replaced in recent years, so it should come off fairly easy on this one, I believe. You may need to use a small hammer or something to whack it off. If yours is seized, then that's going to be a different story. I'm just going to leave that hang for now. We are going to disconnect the parking brake afterwards. So now I'm just doing a dry fit, just trying to see if it's going to work, and it seems like it will. So I'm going to clean a few things up here. Just going to clean a few things up with the threads and stuff off camera. Just going to use a wire brush, a bristle brush thing with the drill to clean the threads out. So because this is a junkyard part, I'm just going to clean this up because of the rust accumulation. So now this area has been serviced in recent years. There's only a little bit of slight rust build up. You can use a piece of sandpaper to clean the rust if you want, and or to use a carbide uh, rotary bit just to clean the inside here, and then that's it. And just wash it down. Apply some anti-seize or grease so that it doesn't seize up in the future. And we are going to install the right rear steering knuckle backing plate. You can use any type of sandpaper. I'm using 80 grit coarse aluminum oxide sandpaper. Any sandpaper works. I'm not going to clean everything down to the bare metal because it's okay, it's fine. It's not that bad here on this one. So we're gonna put a little bit of grease on the flange and on the hub inside here. You can use any wheel bearing chassis grease or whatever. And later, after I'm done the project, I'm going to rust proof everything, the back of the backing plate and stuff. And so now we're just going to install the hub now inside the assembly. Uh, Probably going to lubricate this thing a little bit because I don't want it to seize up on me in the future. Just a little bit of grease here. I already put grease on the axle beam, so we're going to install this. Try to line up the holes. Just hand tighten them by hand first. Thread them in by hand. So now I just found out that the hub bolts are not the correct bolts for the modification, because the bolts are slightly too short, because when you're tying up the hub bolts there's still like 2 or 3 threads that's not all the way in. So you're going to be needing larger bolts. I'm just going to leave this for now after I finish, and I'm going to change them afterwards. But I'm not going to drive the vehicle. Probably after I finish, I'm just going to put it inside the garage. So this is the original bolt, and I just have something else in stock. It's also an M12 by 1.25, but this is a 35 millimeter length. This one is 30, so I think you may need a 40 in length or slightly longer. M12 by 1.25 by 40 is what you need, or slightly longer than that. So anyhow, I'm just going to just install the bolts for the time being so I can just finish up the project, and then later I can change the bolts afterwards. I believe the torque spec for these are 74 foot-pounds. I'm just going to snug them up temporarily with the impact, and then once I get the new ones, I will replace them. So for now, I'm just going to clean everything up, install the new parts so I can see where everything goes and how everything is going to line up. So for now, I'm just going to clean the hub and stuff, install the new brake components, and just go from there. On this side, I'm going to be reusing this hub. I think it's still in decent condition, so I'll just keep it for now. So I'm going to put some anti-seize compound now on the hub. Now I'm just cleaning the new brake rotor with some brake cleaner. Get rid of any oil residues that may be there. So I'm going to install it now. And I'm going to service the caliper bracket and install the caliper bracket. So I'm done servicing the caliper. I'm just going to be using these bolts for now. They are not long enough. I'm still waiting for the new bolts to show up. I'm just going to use this for now. Then later I'm going to change them. It's a 14 millimeter head. Right now I'm using an M10 by 1.25 by 40 volt. I think you need a longer one, by 50. So it needs to be a little bit longer. So as I'm waiting for the bolts, I'm just going to temporarily install these ones for now. Just tying up the bolts. I'll post the torque specs if you want to torque these bolts. So you got to make sure that you have the flange style bolts, so that way they uh, they bite onto the inside, so it doesn't sink in. You got to make sure it has the serrated portion of these bolts. You can add a washer on top if you want for extra safety. So now we are ready to install the new brake pads. I've already lubricated the ears of the brake pads, so you can install the brake pads now. Now on these particular pads, they have the opening, the holes here for the spring clips. I don't have the spring clips, unfortunately, so I'll have to order them separately. So right now I'm just trying to get everything all done so I can just temporarily to put it in the garage, and I can drive my other car for the time being. So I'm running into some small problems here because there's a bunch of stuff that I wasn't aware about and unaccounted for. So this is why I'm making the video, in case if you guys run into the same problem if you're doing the disc brake conversion. But for now, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'll have to order those spring clips parts later on and continue off with the video. So now we're going to install the caliper. I already temporarily installed the brake hose with the new banjo bolt and copper washers. I'm using aftermarket Raybestos brake hose and caliper. So we're going to install the caliper. I believe on this one there's a dimple on this piece here. There's a dimple part here, so that needs to line up in between the one here for the caliper. Because this is brand new, there's no need to do that because it's already positioned on where it needs to be. So we're going to install a caliper now. This is also a 14 millimeter bolts that I came with. I'm just going to tighten it up snug for now. I'll post the torque specs if you want to torque these ones, but otherwise just tighten them down snug and that should be good. Now these calipers, they already came with copper washers, but I already had copper washers that came with the brake hose, so you can use either or. It's not going to matter. So I'm just having a look at the situation here and how this hose is going to line up. So it looks like it's going to line up in such a way like this and to attach to here. So I'm going to have to remove this section flex hose so that I can attach it. Once again, this is a 10 millimeter line. Make sure the brake fluid is topped up again, just to make sure so it doesn't run low. And we have to disconnect the line out of the way. There's a bracket here that's holding the line in place, so I have to see if I need to take that off or not. I'm probably going to disconnect it now before I open the line any further so I can get this loose. There's a bunch of rust proof here, so I need to see if there's a bolt or something covering up. Just going to temporarily tighten it back up. There you go. That's what's holding the line in place. We should be able to get this out of here, out of the pocket. And I think we'll do the same for the other side. So we're gonna have to remove this. I have not worked on the left side yet. I'm working on the right side. So this side is going to be the exact same thing as the other side. It's just going to be a mirror of the right side. So I'm just going to be showing this side only in this video, and that's going to be it. So I blocked this off. Now we need to remove the brake line out of the way. You just hold it in place with the flare nut wrench. It's a 10 millimeter once again, and should be able to get it out. Now we'll see if we can get this to work somehow by connecting this. It's best to remove it completely from the caliper assembly so you're able to turn this. So I need to take it off from the caliper now. It's just going to be a whole lot easier to turn this just like that instead of turning the nut. Just get this a little snug, and then later we'll tighten it up after it's all secured. Somehow we need to modify this in such a way. So now we need to install the copper washers back. And try to make sure there's no dirt in there before you install it. Now the brake fluid is traveling through the hose now. If you need to, change gloves so you don't get everything all dirty. Install this into the caliper. So the banjo bolt is a 12 millimeter on this one. So just tighten it down snug. It doesn't have to be extremely tight. That's good. This whole opening is for the parking brake cable. We are going to do that at the very last part. So now we need to install this clip so we can tighten up the brake line. So now we are going to install the clip back. I don't think it's going to matter if it's this way or this way. So, but I think we'll install it this way. You need to pull back on the line for it to go in. Just trying to see and how it is going to look like. I think it's better this way because it's more firm. So that's in. So we are going to continue to use the 10 millimeter flare nut wrench. In some instances, you may need to hold this down somehow to prevent it uh, from moving. So now this hose actually has to go through the opening here, and somehow I need to modify this area to secure this bracket. Meanwhile, I'm just using a vice grip on the metal piece to hold down on the hose because I'm not able to get a wrench or anything in between there. So just going to tighten down the line snug until it's tight. So I'm just trying to get this hose to stay in its place so it won't move. So I'm just gonna make sure that the line is not twisted. I need to come up with something to secure this. This thing is in the way. There's anything to mount it here. So just trying to reuse the the bracket that I came with, but I don't know if that's going to work. So for now, temporarily, I'm just gonna put some zip ties until I come up with a solution for this. But for now, I'm just going to put a zip tie to secure in place. It's not something that I like to do, but just for now, I'm just trying to keep this through the opening. Um, I may need to get rid of this bracket out of the way so that way it doesn't cause problems. So I just got the caliper mounting bolts, M10 by 1.25 by 50 bolts. There are 10 in this box, Dorman. So here's the one that I had. You are going to be needing a slightly longer bolt, so I think that this one is going to work fine. So now we need to remove the 10 millimeter bracket bolt for the parking brake cable. It's a 10 millimeter. For now, I put a zip tie for the brake hose until I figure something else. So I'll just leave it like that for now. I already installed the new caliper mounting bolts off camera. I still need to find the new hub bolts. So this is the mounting bolt for the bracket. the parking brake cable. Now I have to go underneath the vehicle to remove the parking brake. So now for the parking brake cable, I temporarily installed it into the caliper, but it's not, the ball piece is not inside yet. I'm still taking out the old one. So remove the 10 millimeter bolt over there. And then as we get underneath the vehicle, there are two 10 millimeter bolts for the fuel tank heat shield. One here, one here. These two bolts. I did some stuff off camera. And at the back, there's a 10 millimeter bolt that's mounted into the corner there of the bracket. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this old one piece is mounted over here onto the bracket in the back, just where the fuel tank heat shield is. That's also a 10 millimeter bolt. And I moved the heat shield in the center just out of the way, or you can loosen it up and remove it completely for the right side. So there's a 10 millimeter bolt here that I still need to take out, and there's a plastic bracket that you can lift up and remove the cable. So for this one, you can lift up on the plastic and remove the parking brake cable. Get this free out of the way. You can reuse this if you want, or use a new one. I don't think it's going to matter. Now for here, I'm just squeezing in to remove the 10 millimeter bolt for the end of the parking brake cable. I don't know if I need to detach it from the center cable, which is inside, so we are going to find out. It's very important that you don't break that bolt, because you need that for the parking brake cable. So now I don't know if I'll be able to get this out. I have to have a look at it. You may have to go inside the vehicle because it's attached to the center brake cable. So it looks like I need to go from inside to detach the cable off from here. But it's I don't know if I can detach it from here. I may have to go inside the vehicle. But it's attached inside. So I'm just working on the other side now. This one here, the backing plate is badly rusted and rotted, and the hub wheel bearing is completely seized, so I will have to change that. I was going to say that if you want to clean inside the axle beam opening, you can use a wire wheel brush or whatever, and to attach it to the drill and just clean like that in between, and you'll be able to get a nice and uniform clean of the surface. So the left side is also done. I just need to finish up with the parking brake cables. On this side it was a pain because the hub was completely seized on this end, so I had to get it out off camera. I used the last chance astronomatic kit, where you place a bolt through the wheel stud and goes against the backing plate, the metal solid part of the backing plate, and the nut in the back. I was trying to heat it up and I used the hammer and stuff, but it was not exactly working, so I ended up using this, and then I came out after that. Anyhow, I know I didn't get the chance to speak about the parts. I know I didn't get the chance to speak about the parts, so I removed the old hub that was completely seized on there, and the hub was also seized. It would not spin. So that's that. I used the Raybestos brake calipers for the left and right. At the very end of this video, I will post all of the parts, the part numbers and stuff that I used. So this is I believe it's the right side. This one is the left side. And then the brake hose. I also use the Raybestos aftermarket brand. Sometimes Raybestos can be the OEM of the part. So in the box it'll say Raybestos on it, but when you take it out, it's the OEM part, because either they manufactured it, or or somehow they get it supplied to them. I'm not sure. So this is for the left rear brake hose, and the other one is the right rear brake hose. I have boxes everywhere, so yeah, I think this one is the right rear. This one. And the Dorman caliper mounting bolts I used right here. M10 by 1.25 by 50. It's a 10.9 graded bolt class. Make sure you use 10.9. Don't use anything that's lower than that for the brake components. And I use these hub bolts temporarily for now, but they are a little too short, so I'm going to get long ones later. I don't have them at the moment. And for the parking brake cables, I got the left and right and the front. They come in a box like this for some of them. I think this is the left side parking brake cable. Right side parking brake cable, I think is this one. Then I have the one in the center. I don't know if I'm going to be using that, because the one that's already in the vehicle, there's no issues with it, and I think it's the same exact one for either the base model or the XRS model for the Corolla. And for all of the other models from 2014 to 2019 with the rear disc brakes. So now both sides are done. I'm just going to take a short break. It was basically a full day's job almost for me. So I just need to finish up with the parking brake cables. So I'm just in the middle of doing the parking brake cables now. I removed the center console out of the way. It's just a couple bolts and a few screws and stuff. So there's a couple of trim pieces over here. There are quite a few videos on YouTube already disassembling the center console. I also have a separate video when I did the short throw shifter, so I'm not going to show everything all over again. So over here there's a protective box, a metal box that's on top. So there's a total of, I think, of 3 or 4 bolts. So I set that aside. It's a total of 4 bolts. for that box, and then the other box, it's another 4 or 5 bolts. I lifted it up after that to gain access to the cables. So this is the center cable. Over here you have the right and you have the left. So you need to give it some slack from underneath the vehicle, so you're able to detach the ball that's in here. So what you need to do is you need to remove the e-brake handle, which is held by 2 bolts, to relieve the tension for the center cable going to the equalizer, which is this piece, so you can give it some slack, so you'll be able to remove the cable out of here. So for the left side parking brake cable, pretty much the same as the right side. There's a 10mm bolt. You just need to bend over the heat shield. You don't need to remove the heat shield. And this clip, you just can pry it off, and sometimes they can spin out. You can spin them off, and it goes underneath the fuel tank heat shield. There's no need to take this off. You just need to fish it through. There's 1 bolt here. It goes all the way down on top of the gas tank, the filler neck hose on top over here. And then there's going to be 1 more 10mm bolt right here, and then goes to the back over here to the caliper. And then there's a 10mm bolt over here beside the ABS on top of the axle beam. So back inside the vehicle, I didn't show the part where you need to get out the cables from the equalizer. I had a hard time in the beginning, but actually, and what you need to do, you need to use a thin flathead screwdriver to push out, push down and in, straight out, to get the ball through the bottom part in order to get the cables out. So I didn't show that. I'm not able to show everything because this is a full day's job, and I'm starting to get tired now, so I can't film absolutely everything. So anyhow, we just need to reinstall the cables now. This goes through the opposite end through here, and then you should be able to, it should be able to seat in place afterwards. So everything is all set and good to go. The adjustment nut is over here if you need to adjust it, but you should first pump the brake pedal first to make sure that the caliper is all the way out, to confirm that the parking brake is working properly, because if the piston is not all the way out, the parking brake is not going to work properly. So you want to make sure that that's working. The cables are installed just like so, and then now I just need to put everything all back together. Usually there's a spec for the e-brake, usually like 6 to 9 clicks or something on this vehicle. So I confirmed to make sure that the vehicle is holding, and that's it. So now just make sure you put everything all back together, close up the box, and then reinstall the bolts. So now it's 8 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock in the evening now. I'm all finished. I went for a quick road test. The vehicle drove fine. It's hard to tell the difference yet because I still need to drive at higher speeds on the highway. I still have to change those hub bolts because it's not all the way through. There's 2 or 3 threads, not all the way through. So I'm going to be replacing that soon. I'm just contemplating if it's safe to drive the vehicle, or if it's not safe to drive the vehicle. So I'm going to see. Otherwise, I'm just going to drive my other car. So that's it for this one. It's a full day's job to convert the drum to disc brakes on this 2010 Toyota Corolla. So that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. And please don't forget to hit that bell notification if you haven't done so. Have a good night and take care.